to the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Thursday edition. Chasing that paper. We got a great big show planned for you guys today. Covering basically everything there is to cover, both NBA playoff games, both NHL playoff games, and a couple spots we like in Major League Baseball, including two separate picks for this big White Sox-Royals matchup this afternoon. I know a lot of Royals fans tuning in to the program today, and I am in need of a little bit of luck here, so I wore the Paddy's Irish Pub shirt. Fans of the show Always Sunny in Philadelphia will recognize that spot. Yeah, so coming off a 1-3-1 performance there yesterday, so not too pleased with that, so we will be looking to bounce back. We'll take all the luck that we can absolutely get here, having trouble stringing together winning days. So we will look to do just that, and we'll look to our guy Kevin Rogers here, co-host today, our very special guest, to provide a little bit of luck for us here. Kevin, are you feeling lucky today? Are you feeling lucky?
You know, Joe, we would never be successful at this if we didn't have some luck go our way. So we need a little bit of luck. Not a lot. You get too much luck. They say that all you do is get good luck. So hopefully we get it today, and we can get a few winners and keep moving that line along. But I can't wait for our Royals-White Sox breakdown in a little bit, because we have a full breakdown of that game for both of us.
Yeah, Royals-White Sox. Two separate bets coming right up for Royals-White Sox. But we're going to start things off in the NBA. Let's get right into the action. We go to Philadelphia, where the Sixers are looking to close out the Boston Celtics. I think the Celtics will extend this to 7 games. Give me Boston to cover the -2.5 point spread. This is a spot Boston has been in before. Last season, down 3-2 in the semis. They went into Milwaukee and smacked the shit out of the Bucks. I know it's a different team, but don't expect them to cave to the pressure in a situation they've been in before. Great shooting numbers for Boston here. Number 1 of the 8 teams in this round in terms of effective field goal shooting percentage. So that's not the problem. I think the problem is the coaching, and coaching corrections can be made. Joe Mazzulla, he's under a lot of heat in this series. Improper clock management, not getting the ball in the hands of the right players, running poor plays. We know the talent is there for Boston. They just need to make some tweaks, some in-game adjustments. So hopefully Mazzulla is learning on the fly here a little bit. And yes, Doc Rivers absolutely has been the better coach in the series, but this man cannot close. How many 3-1 leads and 3-2 leads has this guy blown in his career? Multiple. I do not trust Doc Rivers in a tight spot, and this is a tight spot, a potential letdown spot here for the Sixers. We're coming off probably their best win since Rivers took over as head coach. We're going to 7 games. Give me the Celtics -2.5. All right, let's go out to the Western Conference, Kevin. Suns Nugs. How you capping this one?
Joe, we're going to isolate the first quarter in this game, and I do like the under between Denver and Phoenix here. And the Suns obviously need a win to keep their season alive, where you look at the home team has done pretty well so far in the series, winning each game. But I do believe that the first quarter we are due for a bit of a regression. When you look back at the last 3 games, Game 3 in Phoenix had 60 points, Game 4, 66, Game 5, 59. Now, Game 2 was a little crazy, only had 39 points in the first quarter, but we've seen 59 or more in 4 of the 5 first quarters so far in this series. Game 5, the total closed at 55.5. Tonight it's at 58. You can still have a high-scoring quarter and still go under, and it could be 30-27. It's still pretty decent, and it goes under. I think that we get a bit of a regression here. The teams aren't going to struggle totally out of the gate, but Phoenix, they need to win this game to keep their season going. I think maybe they won't try to go up and down with Denver, at least initially. Let's go with the first quarter under between the Suns and the Nuggets tonight in Phoenix, Joe.
All right, let's go to the ice for 2, and we're going to start things off in Carolina. And guys, I hate to do it. I really do, but I got to go with my head, not my heart. For the first time all season, I will be picking against CTP Darling, the New Jersey Devils. I'm going to take the Hurricanes on their home ice -130. Pretty good number on them here, too. So analytical mismatch in this series so far. Decent gap between the teams in terms of both expected goals for percentage and Corsi for percentage. Devils with just 10.52 expected goals in the 4 games so far. Hurricanes on an absolute roll at home. 7-1 in their last 8 games at home. In 5 home playoff games, they've outscored the opponents by 10 total goals. Real sketchy goaltending situation here for New Jersey. First it was Vanacek, then it was Schmid, then it was Vanacek again, and he's been awful. He got yanked in Game 4 after allowing 5 goals. You don't want to be flip-flopping goaltenders due to poor performance at this point of the season. Meanwhile, Fredrik Andersen, the pride of Herning, Denmark, in between the pipes here for the Canes. He has a 1.80 goals against average in the playoffs and is coming off a regular season where he had a 2.27 goals against average at home. Unfortunately, give me the Hurricanes. -130. Let's go to the Western Conference game. Next here, we go down deep into the heart of Texas. Dallas playing host to the Kraken. Dallas is a big favorite in this one, and I like them, but we got to get a better number. So I'm going to take Dallas in regulation. They need to win in 60, coming in at -120. Stars dominating. Expected goals 4 percentage and high danger chances 4 percentage. First versus last in each of these categories in this round. Dallas is playing suffocating defense as well. Just 19 shots allowed last time out. And a massive power play advantage here. Look at the playoffs as a whole. 34% power play percent versus 14. Obviously, in favor of Dallas. All the numbers pretty much in favor of the Stars. So I'll take them in regulation. -120. Okay, now the time everybody has been waiting for is finally here. We teased it off the top. 2 separate picks for White Sox versus Royals. Kevin, get us started. What do you like?
Joe, it's on the board. It's a game. You can make money off it. That's all I care about. And I'm going to go with Kansas City. First 5 today against Chicago. And the Royals have actually played a little better of late. Sneaky. But they've won 2 of 3 in this series against the White Sox. Game 4 is this afternoon. And in the first 5, they have led in 3 of the past 4, and the other one, they were tied. So Kansas City playing a little bit better of late, at least early on in these games. I know it's not a great pitching matchup. Former Florida Gator Brady Singer on the mound today. He has not been good, but he did pitch well against the White Sox last year, beat him twice at Kauffman Stadium, so maybe a little bit of confidence there. And also he lost his last time out as a heavy favorite against Oakland this past weekend. So you're getting him at a shorter price. And Sunshine, Mike Clevenger on the mound for Chicago. Look at that ERA on the road, 5.91. Another interesting number on Clevenger, that his first 3 starts, the White Sox led after the 5th inning. His last 4 starts, they have not led one time. So I like that. Also, Chicago, last 18 games, first 5 innings, they have led just 4 times in that span. So let us take the Royals today to lead after 5 against the White Sox, and you shut the game off. So that's what I like in this game, Joe.
There we go. I've been all over this series. 4-game series. I've made picks for the first 3 games, 2-1. So let's try to end on a good note here. First 5 total for this game between the Chicago Shit Sox and Royals. 5 runs. Boom! Absolutely love the over on this one. So we've been talking about it all week. Both teams are really emerging offensively, especially the Royals. 4th in OPS over the last 2 weeks. White Sox coming in at 10th in that category. Both have been strong versus right-handed pitching. Clevenger on the mound here. This guy's due to implosions. 4 or more earned runs 3 times already this season. All of those occurring on the road. He has a 5.18 ERA specific to innings 1 through 5. And former Florida Gator, as Kevin pointed out, Brady Singer on the bump here for the Royals. This guy's getting absolutely shit-canned. He is one of the worst starters in baseball this season. The man has a 9.09 ERA in innings 1 through 5. He's allowed 5 or more earned runs in 5 of his last 6 starts. Just horrendous for him. Give me F5 over 5. Shit Sox. Royals. All right, Kevin, bring it home for us. Your final pick of the show. What are we looking at?
Well, Joe, tonight's a big sports night in Phoenix, Arizona. The Suns are playing the Nuggets. And then if you don't feel like watching that, you do have an option. The Diamondbacks at home against the Giants. So it should be a packed house at Chase Field this evening when those two NL West rivals meet up. But I do like Arizona in the first 5 innings in this game tonight. The Diamondbacks just dropped 2 of 3 to the Marlins. The Giants, they did not look good in that series against Washington. They won the middle game. They got blown out in the other 2 games. Sean Manaea got racked yesterday. And now San Francisco hitting the road. I do not trust the Giants as a road favorite. They lost twice earlier this year in Detroit. Very rare spot for them. Alex Cobb has actually had a good season for the Giants, but he has struggled in Arizona last year in his 2 starts at Chase Field. Actually, the Giants trailed after the first 5 innings. I know it doesn't really mean much translating it here, but just want to point that one out. But Cobb is off a good start his last time out against Milwaukee. And the Diamondbacks, they have fared well in the first 5 in this situation. They are 7-1 in their last 8 first 5 innings when they're off a game when they didn't lead after the first 5. And they did not lead after the first 5 against Miami yesterday. They were tied through 5, ended up losing that game. But Arizona has found a way to, it's not really bouncing back after you're tied, but still, they don't string together poor first 5 inning performances in a row. That's my point. So let's go with Arizona. Let's take them in the first 5 tonight as a slight underdog against San Francisco.
Woo! All right, there you have it. 7 total picks for the show. Guys, if you like the show, it's easy to let us know that you like the show. Just hit that like button right down there. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button as well. A lot of great content here on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. So if you're looking to get some action in tonight, I highly recommend placing that action over at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Let me tell you a little bit about them. We have an exclusive offer just for Vegas Insider users. If you're betting, you might as well be taking advantage of this. Sign up over at BetMGM. Use the promo code VIBonusMatch, and you will get up to $1,100 of your deposit matched by BetMGM. That's code VIBonusMatch, all one word, no spaces, for a first bet deposit offer of up to $1,100. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older to wager. Offers for new customers only. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Yeah. All right, Kevin, we're months removed or months away from the kickoff to the NFL regular season, but the NFL in the news yesterday and today with, they call these leaks. They're not really leaks, though, are they? Because it happens every single year. They announce that, hey, we're going to have a scheduled release show on Thursday night. And then we get all these, there's been probably a dozen games announced by now. So we talked about a few of them yesterday, and I made a prediction that the season opener would be Chiefs playing host to the Buffalo Bills. But it's not to be. They announced this morning that the Chiefs would host none other than the Detroit Lions in the season opener, which I think is a very odd, some might even say bizarre choice. They can throw anyone in there, really. You'll get a great rating either way. You could do Falcons Titans if you wanted to, and you're going to do a great number, but usually you want to make a big splash, and the NFL is typically fantastic with this, and it's not that big of a deal. Everyone's going to watch this game still, but you had a lot better options than the Detroit Lions, who are a bit of a trendy team, trending in the right direction. I think that's fair to say, but so we knew who the Kansas City Chiefs would be hosting prior to the season, who they had home game schedule against. We just didn't know when they were going to be playing those teams. So coming into the week, we knew that Bills, Eagles, Chargers, and the Miami Dolphins were all scheduled to play in Kansas City. Of course, they switched things up a little bit, and Dolphins, Chiefs will play in Germany now. The Lions were maybe the 4th or 5th best option. Why don't you do the Bills game? I think it makes no sense whatsoever. The Lions, who, yes, they're trending in the right direction. They finished last season strong. A bit of a fun story. We all loved Dan Campbell. Coming into last season, though, they were a laughingstock of the league for a handful of years. Now you got them in this big-time spot. I don't know. What do you make of that one, Kevin? The Lions getting slotted in for the kickoff game.
I don't have a problem with it, Joe. Well, number one, last year, remember, it was Bills-Rams out of the gate. Everyone's so excited. The game was terrible.
Yeah.
and Buffalo blew them out. Not saying that if you're the Chiefs Bills in week one, it'd be a terrible game. I wonder too if CBS had something to say about that Chiefs Bills game. Say no, we want this in a 4:25 slot in October or November. We want exclusivity to that game as opposed to having it week one and burning that game week one. I don't have a problem with the Lions being on there, and everyone makes jokes about the Lions over the years on why they're always on Thanksgiving when they suck and all this other stuff, but they were getting better last year. They played the second half. They were a very good team. They had an opportunity to be in the playoffs, and they ended up falling short. But there's some excitement there. I mean, you still have Mahomes and the Chiefs, which is good. It's still at Arrowhead, and I don't really have many problems with trying to showcase some of these new teams. I mean, I know we'll talk about the Jets and with Aaron Rodgers that they're getting a lot of prime slots. Look, we saw it last year with Russell Wilson and the Broncos that they got a lot of prime slots, and it turned out they were a complete joke. So I don't have a problem with it. It's a little bit of curiosity, some different teams. I have no issue with it.
Yeah, you know what, Kevin? You just changed my mind. 100%. That season opener last year was an absolute stinker. Rams versus Bills, of course, we remember that one. And this game has the potential to be a lot of fun, actually. Thinking back on it, Detroit games were a lot of fun last season because the defense stunk and the offense really, I wouldn't even say they overachieved. They were just really good. So they were in a lot of high-scoring games. Of course, remember the Lions gave the Bills a pretty good game there on Thanksgiving. So, yeah, maybe we get a good game here. Spread opened at 7 points, by the way, if you're looking for some early action on that one. I'll be looking to target the total if a good number comes out on that one. But a few more interesting games announced. The opening Monday Night Football game of the season, you knew they were going to do something with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Now, I predicted it would be Jets in Dallas. I was wrong about that one. That will be a marquee game at some point. But they're going to do Bills at Jets. That's a pretty fun game. You know, the Bills still one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. They finished last season. They left a really bad taste in everyone's mouth, I guess you could say. So they underachieved. They've underachieved for a couple seasons in a row now. So it could really go either way for them. You guys know I'm not high on the Jets at all, this Aaron Rodgers situation. So, Kevin, quickly, I'll throw this to you. I think people are losing their minds with the Jets. You see people doing their best teams in the NFL rankings, and they have like the Jets at number 5, number 6. It makes no sense to me. Are people right about the Jets, or am I wrong? What do you think?
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I think that Aaron Rodgers will be a bit rejuvenated going to New York, and I think that he wore out his welcome in Green Bay. I think they were tired of him in Green Bay. I think this was a healthy divorce in the end. I think the Packers just want to go to someone who wants to be there. Aaron Rodgers still has a little bit left in the tank, and going to New York, you would say, all right, big stage for him. Obviously, a tough division with the Bills being the favorite, with the Dolphins being, a team that could definitely make a lot of moves this year, assuming Tua's healthy. But I give Aaron Rodgers a chance. I would. I'd like to see what he could do. And we know the Jets have had poor quarterback play the last few years, and you say, okay, let's see what they could do with a good quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers has a good year or two left in him, I think it's intriguing. I think it's good for the NFL. I think that people will pay attention to them. I don't care what happens week one against the Bills. If they lose, all right, so what? We'll see how it goes. But Aaron Rodgers still has got a little bit left in the tank. And if he's somewhat motivated and things can work out, he's got his guy Nathaniel Hackett, who obviously didn't work in Denver, but now he's in New York with him. If that works out too, they have some decent receivers. Defense is good. I don't think it's that bad. I want to wait and see with him. I'm not ready to write him off just yet.
All right, a few more games also announced. Dolphins and Patriots, Sunday Night Football, Week 2. Tom Brady will be honored prior to that one, so a lot of excitement there. I'm sure we don't have enough Tom Brady in our lives. And Chiefs versus Raiders on Christmas Day. As I said yesterday, NFL giving a big FU to the NBA with their Christmas Day slate, so we will look forward to that one. So a bit of a story that will emerge over the course of the next year here, Kevin. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So Bronny James, of course, the oldest son of LeBron James, he has declared to play college basketball at USC next year. And I don't think people realize how much of a circus this is going to be if Bronny James ends up declaring for the NBA draft here in 2024. Now, I'm no high school basketball expert by any means, so I'm not going to come on here and break down the game of Bronny James. But from reports that I've heard, this guy isn't even really close to being a lottery pick by any means. But of course, he's the type of someone that someone will take a flyer on. And I think teams have a real major incentive to take a flyer on a Bronny James in the 2024 NBA draft, potentially for business reasons, because LeBron has made it clear that he's really eager to do this Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. thing and join his son, no matter where his son ends up. So what I'm wondering is, and why I do think that this becomes a complete and total circus, is Bronny James might be the 20th best player in the 2024 NBA draft, but the story of that draft might be entirely about him because it's a package deal with his old man. So if you're one of these bum teams who's had zero buzz and nothing going for you the past couple of years, the Hornets, the Wizards, the Indiana Pacers, why wouldn't you reach if you don't have like the top 5 pick? Why wouldn't you reach for a Bronny James knowing that you're also going to get LeBron James on your team for a year or two? You can jack the ticket prices. You're going to sell out pretty much every game. You're going to sell a shit ton of jerseys. So, Kevin, I know you're not exactly, you don't consider yourself to be a high school basketball aficionado, but don't you think this could be a complete and total circus? And it's kind of unfair to Bronny James, too, if you think about it.
I just don't know why. And how do you know I'm not a high school basketball aficionado? How can you claim that?
Well, yeah, I never hear you talk about it. Well, break down his game for us then, Kevin. Who's the NBA comparison to Bronny James?
Andre Kirilenko.
Oh, okay. Well, he's pretty good then. Good rotation guy. No, I think rotation guy.
Yeah, I think that Joe, LeBron James should have never come out and been like, I want to play with my son, because now it's like forcing the issue of whenever he ends up, when Bronny gets drafted or wherever he signs with or whatever the case is, that now that team is going to have to worry about where's LeBron at. And I think that's not good for LeBron's legacy either. That if, let's just say, Bronny James went to Detroit, just throwing a team out there. So LeBron's going to play for a year in Detroit just to play alongside his son at 40 years old. I just don't understand the point behind that. And I know that, people don't remember Michael Jordan with the Wizards. They remember him with the Bulls. They'll remember LeBron with the Cavs and, the Heat because he won some titles with them and with the Lakers. They won't remember him wherever he goes at the end. But why even put that out there? I don't know why. You should just be proud that your son's in the NBA and not say, well, I have to play with him because, A, he could be on the same team. See, the Ken Griffey Jr. comparison is so different because Ken Griffey Jr. was the first pick of the draft. Ken Griffey Jr. was a young star in the game, and his father was at the end of the line, and they played on the same team. But Ken Griffey Jr. was a major impact player, where Bronny James may not be the same thing. And that's where LeBron kind of forcing the issue. I don't really agree with that. That it's okay if you want your son to be drafted and play in the NBA, and then, if LeBron's still with the Lakers and Bronny's with whatever team, so be it. And when they play each other, oh, it's a nice moment. But I don't understand why they'd have to play on the same team for a whole year just to do it. I don't know. I just think you're right. It's a little bit of a circus if that's the case.
Yeah, I think it would be unfair to the kid. But at the same time, I think it would be one of the coolest stories in maybe sports history. We all do look back at that. Those of us who are old enough will look back at the Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. thing. And I don't remember it live, but, you remember hearing the story. And it is pretty cool. But I also think it's one of these things like producer Tito put in the chat here. LeBron said under no circumstances would he ever play for Orlando. This is something LeBron would 100% influence behind the scenes. They would tell the bum teams, the Washington Wizards of the world, do not draft this kid, Bronny James. That's a lot of power for Bronny James, considering he might be whatever, not even a lottery player. But this could be a situation where they influence it, where maybe it is, I don't know what the Lakers draft pick situation is. They don't have many of them, but maybe the Lakers acquire a pick late in the first round and they just take Bronny James. Or a situation, maybe the Miami Heat with the 22nd pick in the 2024 draft take Bronny James and LeBron goes back to Miami. A situation he would be comfortable in. But yeah, the two of them, it's a big marketing thing, right? They're not going to be suiting up for the Portland Trailblazers. But yeah, I do think that's an emerging story that has potential to be a real circus here over the next year. We have to see what type of player young Bronny is at USC. Apparently he's pretty good, but he's not even close to being a lottery pick from people in the know. Okay, one last topic here, Kevin. Major League Baseball. The Mets. A big trendy team coming into the season, not off to a great start, not off to a horrendous start by any means. They're a game under 500, but they're proving that you just can't buy a championship in Major League Baseball. Pretty uncreative strategy by them. Let's just throw a ton of money at our problems. They're out there giving the Verlanders and Scherzers of the world just ridiculous, insane short-term contracts, but still, and it's not really working out. Scherzer's having an absolutely disaster of a season so far. He gets busted cheating. He's hurt already. The performance has not been good. Verlander, first two starts of the season, yeah, not bad. But here's the thing. He missed a month to start the season. He going to stay healthy all season? So what do you think of the Mets here? You know, coming into the season, they were one of the favorites to win the World Series. Now we see them slipping down the World Series futures odds board. Do you think that they can bounce back and kind of make themselves a true contender here as the season grows?
It was all because of Carlos Correa not staying there. That's what the killer was, Joe. Is that if he would have stayed, he's been terrible in Minnesota too this year. But look, the Scherzer thing, Scherzer has been good with them before this year. The suspension obviously is a bit of a black eye for him, and then just getting hurt right after the suspension. At least with Justin Verlander, through the two starts, he's pitched well. They beat the Reds last night. They lost to Detroit in his first start. But I'm not ready to count the Mets out just yet. Atlanta's probably going to win this NL East. They are a runaway train right now. But when you look at the rest of the National League, Joe, the Dodgers will be there. The NL Central, I can't imagine more than one team getting out of the NL Central this year. Just seeing, Pittsburgh's still leading the division. They've been horrible of late. And, you wonder if the Cardinals will come back, what the Cubs will do, what the Brewers will do. And then in the NL West with the same thing with the Padres, if they'll eventually move up. But I think the Mets, with the pitching, what's funny is Scherzer and DeGrom now in Texas, but both of them are hurt. Verlander was hurt. That all these big arms, those guys got a ton of money. They're not healthy. But the Mets still have an opportunity to put this thing together, I believe. Obviously, losing Edwin Diaz in the WBC, that one hurt. But the Mets aren't where the Cardinals are at, where they're in such a big hole. They're only a game below 500. And if the goal is just get in the playoffs, not even worry about winning the division, I still think New York can do it. Scherzer will eventually get his stuff together. Verlander can keep it together. Offense can come around a little bit. I'm not quite ready to quit on the Mets just yet. They got up to a really good start and then kind of fell back for a bit. I'm not ready, Joe, to count out the Mets. It's very early, and I think that we've seen just get in the tournament. Just get in, and they can make a run. There's not a lot of great teams in the National League. Past the Braves and Dodgers, there's not a lot to really be afraid of. So I'm pumping the brakes on the Mets a little bit. I'm going to give them a chance to turn it around.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We've seen a lot of contending teams get off to slow starts and then make a big push at the midpoint of the season, then stay consistent. Down the stretch, we've seen Yankees fans losing their minds. They're still very much in the race. Got over 100 games to go. So, yeah, let's maybe pump the brakes on that a little bit. And another report coming out here, the Dallas Cowboys and Commanders on Thanksgiving in Dallas. That's a shitty game. Commanders will be in contention for being one of the worst teams in the NFL. They'll be drafting near the top there, with along with the Arizona Cardinals here in 2024. Okay, guys, it is now time for today's Handicapper Heat Check, proudly presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. MLB profits leader ASA are up 15 units in baseball this season. They're on an 8-1 NBA playoff run as well. Ray Monahan has a 10-1 record in his last 11 NBA playoff picks. And Steven Nover is on a 10-1 NHL playoffs win streak. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for today's early MLB action, plus NBA and NHL playoffs best bets. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, betters. Yeah. All right, Kevin, before we send you away here, what do you have going on out there that Chasing That Paper viewers can check out?
You can check out our YouTube channel at Vegas Insider TV. We have an NBA best bet for tonight, and we'll have another one for tomorrow, and then we'll eventually transition into the NBA Conference Finals coming up next week. So we're looking forward to that, but you could find those videos on our YouTube channel, Vegas Insider TV. Bookmark it right this minute.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you follow Kevin's instructions there and bookmark that immediately. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel here as well, guys. So, yeah, that does it for today. Hopefully, the luck of the Irish will find us with our picks there tonight. We'll be right back tomorrow. Ian McMillan will be joining us in his traditional Friday slot, covering everything there is to cover, including our Maple Leafs fan mental health check. The Leafs stayed alive last night, so we'll see how Ian is feeling about his team as the series shifts back to Toronto for Game 5 of that one. So that does it for today. We thank Kevin very much for joining us once again. We thank producer Tito for producing today's program, and we thank you, dear viewer, for checking us out. Once again, best of luck with your bets tonight, unless, of course, you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Yeah! Woo!